Okay, we are live. We are live. I think it's working. I started on purpose a few seconds earlier just to see. Okay, I see people hopping in. Nice, nice. Say hello in the chat if you're hopping in. I'm just gonna wait for a few seconds to get the chance for people to join before I start. I'm here with Denis. We're both excited to have and Denis. I never said your last name out loud. Golubovskiy. You see, this is the Eastern European that knows, that how to pronounce the last names.
Yeah, it's cool because not too many people actually can properly say it.
There you go. See, this is Eastern Europe 1, the rest of Europe 0. Okay, cool. Well, let's I'm giving people like a few more, like 30 more seconds to see if it joins. So I've never done this before. So it will not be. Oh, Alina, hi Alina. You see Eastern Europe in the house here. Good, good. I like it. I've never done a live like this before on Substack, so it will not be without fault. Things will happen, but just bear with me as I'm figuring out how this works. I have a lot of questions for Denis today, so let's see. Uh, you know, let's see how a Substack live works. If this goes well, Denis promised me he's gonna do more lives. So you see, I'm throwing you out there. Okay.
Is that true?
Okay, so I gave people enough time so we can start. So, well, if you just opened your TV now, I'm here with Denis Golubovskiy. He's the founder and CEO at Stape. Denis, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you for welcoming. And yeah, I'm doing well. It's like summer, and I'm living in the city with a lot of sun and a lot of tourists already coming. So I feel it. I am almost also on vacation.
Oh man, I'm jealous. Like as you know, I'm in Sweden and it hasn't been sunny in a long time. Actually, it's been raining incessantly for the last days. But you're in Spain, right? So you're getting the good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Dennis, the reason why I wanted us to chat today is because ever since I watched the Google Marketing Live like 2 weeks ago, I cannot stop thinking about where is web analytics going. I mean, I cannot be the only person on this planet that is thinking about this. I think also because I've been in the field for such a long time, I've seen things come and go so many times. And I feel like, yes, now we're riding the server side wave. But at the same time, you said something that I really like. It's kind of us trying to turn server side into client side, which makes no sense. But I want to like start a bit with Google Marketing Live. Um, I think it's super obvious that Google wants us to stop touching things. Like just yesterday, we had the update, as you know, on the Google Ads signal. Then it introduces some new updates in Google Analytics. There's so many things happening at the same time. But I see that Google is turning ad buying into this it was already a black box, but it seems that now it's an autonomous black box where manual settings are, just barely even any. And their algorithm optimized almost entirely on the data quality you feed them. So we keep on hearing data string, data string, data string. Like that was the main thing that I heard from the event. So you guys at Stape, I'm just going right in right now. I'm not gonna ask you to introduce yourself anymore. But you guys at Stape have always talked about how poor signals naturally lead to very poor performance, right? Which makes complete sense because machines in general and AI will only optimize, for what they can see. So my first question to you is: if feeding the black box is the only real lever we have as analysts, what actually differentiates, a high utility signal, like a good quality signal, versus just the garbage traffic that most most brands are sending through? So let's start with that.
I will try to answer more practical and from what we actually do for clients and what we see. From our practice, a lot of people send the same events. For example, besides page view, they send view item. And I often ask what the idea of sending view item from the page with on only one item, or why then how do you use this view item event later? And I think also like the second problems after this, they use uh, not proper identifiers. And for example, for Facebook, they often is not correct configured deduplication, and you have 4 times the same data sent to Facebook. For example, page view item from web, and page and view item from server. And this really not helps at all. And again, from our experience, and again, in my opinion, it's like it's better to send maybe less events to ads vendors. I'm not speaking about analytic. I mean about ads vendors, less events, but only that events that have some additional value. So let's say you send page view, purchase, add to cart. Maybe this is enough because only this event have real identifiers in the data. And yeah, so I think the main differentiator with garbage data and good data is if you can use it on purpose. If you not use it and just send because you can, this probably a garbage event.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it seems like if you think about it, like I think it's also this obsession that we have as an industry with tracking everything and thinking everything is useful. And we end up, I guess, just, making events for the smallest thing that doesn't really matter, that doesn't even touch the revenue. And then we say, oh, well, we have server side now, so we need to send absolutely everything that's going on. And then that data ends up in a dashboard that nobody uses because, I always like to say that dashboards is where data goes to die. So I think, would you say that maybe it's a more strategic decision that must exist within brands to what are actually the metrics, dimensions, the parameters that really make sense for how we make money or for how we function as a business and try to be more, I guess, selective to what we use specifically?
Yeah, so for example, at Stape, we personally not use view item. We also like somehow a shop where you can buy products. Okay, we are SaaS product, but it's very similar. And this is just example. And when we created our pipeline of what we want to track on our website, we
Mhm.
just choose it event that are in the flow. What I mean? So we person come to the site, page view it. We want to know which pages is more popular. It's obvious. Then it's like from which page a person registered, or then from which uh, on which day, etc. person start trio and when purchase it. That basically our funnel, and we not really send too much more events besides these four. I would
Mm.
say why? Because in reality, when we create our internal dashboards, we just want to see what campaign performed well to the end of purchase. We not even often check uh, if person was converted from trial to purchase it. We mostly just check which channel created purchase.
Yeah.
And from what I see, for especially for smaller clients that have Shopify, WordPress, Shopware, whatever website, and they just small company, I don't know, 10 people, they don't need more. And my idea of like I I I prefer to say set up better 3 4 events with properly with everything you have, like you know you can put in this event, then just set up, I don't know, 10 and with less identifiers or not properly with the duplication or whatever. So my advice, uh, track what you need and track it properly, not just track everything. And yeah.
No, and I agree. And also, I think one can argue that not much is happening on the website behavior. As you know, like to some degree, sure, you can collect session data to infinity and click throughs on the website and landing pages, but does it really, really matter? And I think there's so much that happens outside of the website, outside of our own platforms that I guess counts more into how conversions happen or how intent develops. that I think probably, and this is just me, as a consultant, I observe that there is no strategy for data from that point of view. Like it is implementation, classic, let's implement, let's audit the GTM, let's audit the server side or client side, and here is this measurement protocol, and this is all the stuff you need to have because I don't know, somebody said it 10 years ago that we have to have all of these events. And it's quite hard. And I think you're right. We should probably have more of a Marie Kondo approach to events. Like if it doesn't spark joy, maybe we should not track it or should not send it. But I will ask you something. So Alina said here in the chat that there's a lot of pressure that comes from ad platforms, which is very true. For instance, Meta pushing that the more signals and events you provide, the better the recommendations. So I know why they do this, but you're my guest. So why do you think this happens?
It's a good question, and for classic e-commerce shops, there is optimization around lead forms, for example,
Mm,
and other like it can be not only simple ads, but if you do more sophisticated ads on Meta, that's can be true, and again, it's true for mixed modeling models what is MMM basically.
yeah.
For this, it's also important to send as much as possible because uh, from what I hear, what they say again, it's like they even personally don't know how it works. If you send everything to some tool, a AI tool that predicts what will person do, then yes, probably more events you have, it's better. But it's about how you believe on like how you give optimization to Meta, Google, or you want to optimize on yourself. So if you like an agency or you personally want to optimize campaigns mostly uh, using your knowledge,
Mhm.
I'm not sure that you need to all of these events. But if you use like after, let's say, autopilot in these ad campaigns, then yeah, then it's better to send all.
Send everything to that
Yeah, and
platform.
yeah, maybe in future it will be like this. We will not control like what again Meta showing us now, they have this magic button that tracks everything automatically on the page. And maybe in 2 years, it will be so popular and so good working that everybody start using this. So we'll see.
Mm, mm. I think also the takeaway here that it should be that you need to have some sort of strategy and direction as to what you're trying to accomplish. Because if you don't know exactly what you're trying to do with this event data that you're sending, like what is the outcome? And I think too many people forget to think about what will I do once I have this data. We just say we want the data, we want this metrics, we want this KPIs, we want all of this, but nobody kind of like plans for what happens once you have it. So okay, so what do we do with this? Like where is the action part? So I wonder that maybe companies should focus on what is the action that they're trying to take with this data and then go and work backwards from there to decide what are we sending, how are we enriching, what are we adding. I think most people start from I need to send this event versus oh, this is what I'm trying to accomplish and this is all the steps that I need to go through to get to the outcome that I want. Very interesting. Well, I'm gonna stress you with a question now. So we are in a very weird, pretty weird reality. And I hope I'm not gonna get hate. Okay, so people don't give me hate for this question. But we are in a weird reality where traditional, as everybody knows here, maybe they don't want to admit it or not, but the traditional web session is basically a ghost. So if we, again, thinking about GML, between generative search experience that are handling the user intent or creating user intent offsite completely, then you have server to server checkouts maybe with this whole agentic shit. And then journeys, customer journeys that look like they're just like super disconnected, right? And then you have I don't know, chunk of commercial value of data that never even touches a standard browser data layer. So my question is, because I am not, again, like, this is your expertise and I really need an answer because this has been growing in my mind. If when does the classic um browser session gets this bad, how do we actually build this data infrastructure that reflects reality? Let's say that before we got to the outcome, we know what to achieve, but how do we build this data architecture that helps us understand what is reality? Because at some point, I think we're just guessing stuff. We're just like, we've been so used for the last years to do things in a way that we just are repeating it and just like, hoping for the best. So, what do you think about that? Very easy question, I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really hard to answer, and I think it's somehow connected to previous question about what to track, how to track, and uh, yeah, just focus on what you know and what you can, and do it properly. I mean, it's that easy. Uh, if you like not sure that it works properly and causing errors,
Yeah.
make it simpler. Make it just work in the way you can. If uh, uh, you see that this part works, then start adding new layers. So maybe you like set up server side and web tracking, but if you set up it bad, it can be worse than just correct web setup.
Mm, mm,
So like stop layer by layer. Always check how it works and if it correctly works, and yeah, try to after this start to add new things besides server side tracking itself. There is like, for example, pause tracking, or you can enrich data before sending somewhere. But again, start to do this after you already sure that previous layers of your tracking are correct.
yeah. But is it only correct, but also like kind of like how does it make sense also from a business perspective? Because I think it's easy. So I don't want to offend people. It's easy to do a tracking implementation because it's a template at this point. It's like, and now with AI, you can just run an audit on GTM. You get the tick, tick, tick. This is what's going on bad. And then you just go and deploy. And you can do this. Let's say if you have, I don't know, a GA4 account with many properties, you just roll up across, you use measurement protocol. Like it's so easy right now to track things. I mean, yes, I know there's still going to be a lot of clients that have a big sandwich of cereal, banana, and beef when it comes to Google Tag Manager. So I know we still have 300 tags with 277 triggers and no variables. But I think it's easier nowadays to set up the tracking because it's kind of basic. It's like very binary. But like, I also wonder, is correctness enough? Like, should we do a bit more work when it comes to enrichment and look at other data sources across? Because as I said, the session based data is just like, who cares at this point? It does help to some degree, but is it maybe something that we need to kind of look as an industry a bit further away from what we're used to and look to other data sources and other teams? What do you think?
So yeah, yes, it's a good question, and again, this part is heavily pushed by Meta and Google at this point. So the thing is, you can track data and events not only from browser but from CRM systems,
Mm,
and it's we also try to explain that it is actually much easier than people think. You just install, I don't know, Stape app or some other. There is free tools for HubSpot, for example, from where you can send events to server side GTM and then to add or on Google Analytics to add platforms or to Google Analytics. And the main problem from what we see is stitching sessions or stitching the same customer. So, for example, one customer come to your website, then salesperson called it in 5 days, and you from CRM system send that event to SGTM and SGTM to Google. but how Google Analytics, for example, but how in Google Analytics sees that was the call for the person who viewed your page.
Yeah.
And this is hard part, and that's why we created simple solution, like always we do in Stape. It's called it enricher.
Mm-hmm.
And idea of this enricher power up is to stitch sessions between devices, between offline data, and we more it positioning like stitching data for offline, like stitching of online and offline data. So if you have a web store or you are working heavily with the long sales process, for example, our automotive clients, they really like this. So
Mm-hmm.
because mostly when you want car or I don't know, even parts for a car, you just go to website, leave there a message, call me back, please, and that's it. And most of competitive, like not clients, but most of sites do not track then how call was. This call was succeed or no, and we see that actually data from phone calls it's very very important in optimizing ads. So
Mm-hmm.
and it's that's why it's important to stitch call to initial ad that created this call.
Mm-hmm. That's a really
And
cool use case.
yeah, yeah, and automotive guys really like this. Mostly because all of their sales are like not even long sales. It can
Yeah.
be short, but it's very important to understand which like ad campaign worked to convert this customer. And compared to e-com, for example, it's on e-com, many customers just buy online and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And for automotive, it's opposite. It's still online
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the phone, but yeah,
No, but this is a good point because the more you think about it, like, again, I think it's something with us here in the space that we're so focused on our side of the story that we forget, for instance, like, yes, we're trying to bring this traffic to a website, but what is the business model? Well, in the automotive world, as you said, you might go to the website, you leave a message, and then you're connected to a specific dealership that is specific to your location. And then you have to wait, and then you have to call, and then you follow up, and how many emails and how many touch points. And then kind of like those signals will build up to like what is the next audience or what is the next strategy. And I guess we always said that we have like this join of data sources in the industry, but the more I think about it, we just generally don't. It's like all things are separated. Yeah, I like that a lot. But you said something with server side, and I want to talk more about the enricher. I want to talk about Google Ads as well. But I want to talk about server side 1 second because you said something I said in the beginning. So for people that join later, like I've been obsessing about this one sentence that Dennis gave me, and he said that we need to stop using server side GTM as a copy of client side GTM. And I want to double click on that. So I think most teams still looks, unfortunately, at server side through a very narrow lens. So it means that we're mostly treating it like a very glorified proxy or like a compliance band-aid. It's like, just put a band-aid to stretch, like cookie lifetimes on Safari and so on. So I've been looking at your blueprints, your internal blueprints, and how you guys are thinking about this. Like I'm looking at, the raw web hooks from CRMs, the payment gateways, I don't know, scheduled APIs, and so on. So I think and I think we don't talk about this enough, but if you can share maybe from your guys' experience, like what is the architectural change that must happen, right? When a company just genuinely stops treating server side as just a browser mirror and starts treating it more like a custom, I think I like to think about it like as a customer intelligence like hub, because you can send so much information and you can use that data to make better decisions and do better campaigns and so on. So what does it look like? Like how when can we stop trying to transform this into what it is?
I think for most of clients, change was coming when they start to send events not from web but from some other source, and
Mhm.
that can be even again web source. Some web, for example, in Stape, we are sending subscription cancels and subscriptions updates from Stripe. We use Stripe as payment processor to our SGTM to track all of these events in our analytic tool, to understand how many updates, upgrades, cancels happening today. And this information can be only tracked through HTTM, as there is no way on the web track how many people, I don't know, like how many times updated subscription for particular customers, uh, because this events happening only on servers. There is no way, like there is nothing happening on the browser. And same for cancel subscription events. Or
Mhm.
it's often now, if good example for Shopify web shops is a refund event. This
Mhm.
always often happened later, and it's usually happening inside back office, or like inside Shopify back office, not on front market where people log in. And statistics shows that tracking cancellations, refunds, returns, it's heavily important for optimizing ad campaigns, because if customer purchase it and you are happy and you start to optimize campaign for similar customers, but these customers in the end will return the product, it's not that great campaign. So answering directly, uh, start to send events to server-side GTM, not only from web, and this already will start to change your mind.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's good what you said is kind of like goes back to thinking about server side just as a layer where you can just collect, combine different signals, combine different insights, and then putting them to action. And I guess, in different platforms and different activation routes. I think sometimes we just get so probably caught up into figuring out like, hey, we lost all this data. We don't know what's happening. We cannot quantify every click, every little event, every missing parameter. So we say, oh, server side, this is gonna be the solver of all my problems. And I like what you said a lot. And I think if we think about, I think also from my perspective, and I might be selfish because I'm a strategist, but I think having somebody that works with the analytics team that does understand strategy, that does understand media and performance can really work with the analytics team to put to work all the signals and think about different scenarios, like you said with the refund. Like you might be super happy that you have a lot of sales on a campaign, and then you don't think about what happened after the purchase. And you just say, oh my God, this is my best campaign ever. Let me just do another audience and bomb people again with my ads. But then you find out that you have, I don't know, 70% refunds. So if that data never comes to your to the server side and into your platforms, you will never know. And you're just doing things like on a hamster wheel, if that makes sense. I really like that. So, Dennis, I have more questions for you. And I want to talk a bit about Google. And Alina, this is because of you, because you triggered me with the ad platforms. But I need to be very careful with how I ask questions. I'm trying to stay employed. So, my first encounter with server side was when Phoebe came to be, and I realized that you can bid on profit. So I really like the whole Pantheon thing that Google dropped. Really like Phoebe and Artemis and all the Greek gods. And I was super excited. I mean, it's a complicated conversation to have to expose profit and be able to bid on it, but it does bring a lot of benefits, especially in a retail environment. So Google pushes this very hard, as you know. But if you think about it, most companies still optimize for top line revenue, but it's very, very inefficient, as you know. So I know that you guys have the pure POAS. The Eastern European in me is trying to do it in English, but I'm going to say POAS data feed power up, which is similar, I guess, to the Pantheon library, where you just inject the actual product margins directly into the data stream, right? So I wanted to ask, like, what happens to the behavior when you make this shift? Like, what did you see across your clients when they shift from bidding on revenue versus on profit using the pause thing?
Yeah, we have actually three types of pause tracking. Like it's still it's all pause tracking. I mean, three types of how you can calculate profit over ad spend. In the end, create the same results for end customers. Like you said, every ad platform advertises a lot, and mostly because it really works. It depends on industry, and for like definitely this product for e-commerce, and it works there best. We tried on us as a SaaS product. It's not done any magic, to be honest, but for classic e-com, it works great. Results are different. I would say like this: results not it's not like about you will get better ROAS or something. Uh, you will get better profit, and it's actually harder to end uh, clients to calculate uh, how it. Help it with profit when for example, we had a pretty large e-com like a client. We set up it for them, this pause tracking, and when we asked them, do this help it, can you check if they profits um, grown up, and they said to us they actually measure only revenue of sales in their analytic. They were not able fully understand if it's changed something. So here, my advice here, if you will start to use pause tracking for optimization, always start also track profit inside your analytic tool. Because by default, in my experience, almost everybody in GA4 just track revenue, and that's it. There is no like any custom field actually, like that you need to create this field, etc., set up, and nobody do this.
So true. I had this. I mean, before my analytics days and whatever, I used to work in a vendor side, as you probably know, Dennis. I used to work at OmniConverge. I was also in the software side. So the tool that we were selling was a CLV analysis tool. And at that point, I was so enamored with customer lifetime value and profit. And I thought, oh my God, like I'm killing this. Yes, CLV this and CLV that. So then when I actually moved from that type of sales role in a vendor side, and I got into client side, and I got into agency and then working with clients, I realized that CLV and profit is like the hardest thing one can even get to. So I think my advice here is to find out what is the proxy you can use for profit that makes sense for your business model and for your team, because every team is going to look at profit a bit differently inside of a company, and the largest your company is, the more complex your business model is. You will find, if you ask 5 teams, you'll get 5 definitions of profit. So this is why I always recommend for people to sit and talk about what does profit mean, and then find the proxy that makes sense for each of the teams on their own, but also together, and ladders up to what profit is for the company. Because it's similar also, kind of like if you think with predictive lifetime value, it's just like a moving target. It's so hard to predict. It's so hard to make this calculation. You need the cost to serve, the cost of acquisition, you need overheads, and so many, it's a very finance focused question. So as you said, you need to have these conversations internally and find this proxy per profit that seems true to you, but also you need to make somebody in charge of this, because this will change over time, because profit is going to be very different when you have 5,000 customers to when you have 50,000 customers. So it's like always a running thing. I don't think it's easy, but once you get there, for sure, I think it's way better for your advertising to bid on profit in general.
Yeah, so our understanding, the CRO or the person who responsible really for profit and revenue, this person will be happy in the end
Yeah.
if you use pause. But what you say, that's again, we had this really a lot, that people don't know. Like even they maybe they know like a cost like for ecom. Many people know the cost of item they have on their like in their shop. So let's say they know that I don't know, t-shirt costed not $50 but $10, and that they know this part. But profit, it's like much more than like cost of t-shirt. It's
True.
how much cost like just delivery, how much cost again refunds. You need to calculate how it costed to like at least you I don't know, 5% or so calculate minus because of refunds. You need to calculate much more, and usually the people who really know real profit, they really far from tracking, marketing, etc. And from what
Absolutely.
we see, most of people just put cost of item,
Yes.
okay, not profit,
Yep.
which is still works better than revenue. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so complicated, and I promise for the people that tuned in this, I'm going to after this live, I'm gonna send a newsletter to everybody, and I'm also gonna ping in a few slides. I taught a course at IHM Business School in Malmo about understanding data strategy, data visualization, and I'm going to ping a few slides from my course where I'm breaking down the profiting with direct costs, fixed costs, and kind of like try to give it for a few business models to make it easier for you guys to start thinking about it. But this is a conversation that you should have with your teams. And as Dennis said, like maybe the revenue team is going to be, yay, let's go. But the other teams might not be as happy because profit also kind of exposes if you're not doing really well. So it's a complicated, it's a complicated topic. Moving on, because I know we're almost at time. We need to address, if we're talking about profit, we need to address the first party data in the room. So we have to talk about this. So with you mentioned Enricher earlier. So I was at Measure Camp Copenhagen 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? Jesus, I think so. So I heard Marcin and Dan, big shouts to Marcin and Dan, talk about Enricher. I was trying to take pictures, but the light was like hitting the the presentation. But I got super excited because we I mean I've been in this business for a long time, and I'm so sick and tired of us talking about this is the year of first party data. It's been the year of first party data for 15 years. But what I'm saying now is the execution is kind of shit. However, we talked about the fact the user might interact with the brand across 3 different devices without logging in, and your event match quality score will tank. Attribution is, falling apart and so on. Tell me more about Enricher, and tell me, like, did you see, like a lot of changes for people that started using it? Like, what do you expect for people that start combining all these rich signals, sending them server side, and then sending them to the ad platforms? Tell me more about it.
yeah. So enrichment is I personally also talk about this. I think more than 3 years at all. My first talk at Super Week was about enrichment. And but to be honest, because of how hard and practice to achieve everything, there are not too many of our clients used it, and it was pretty costly, hard to set up. Like that's why we know it. We need to create this simple button and hide everything, hide complexity. But it took for us also a while to make this solution. Um, and how it works and why we done this and what is results. So basically, when you visit any website, we store about your visit all information we can, like IP address, cookies, click identifiers. And when you log in, we store your email, login data, everything. And then when you open the site again, on the page, there is no information about you, like email, phone, address, etc. we still enrich that not data layer, but even data on server side GTM with this data. Why? How this helps? This helps drastically with matching quality for Meta and Google Ads. Of course, for other also we mostly focus it on these two platforms, but it's also works with TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, with all other platforms like even like LinkedIn also, and using restored data from our database. So we basically store everything about each visit of customer in our database, and each time this customer back, we restore to your event data this data, and this helps increase quality scores. Every notifications in Meta start to disappear. Clients are happy about this. I'm also, because our support like daily receive tons of emails about why I have this new alert in Meta, and now it's become much more better because quality score for end customer achieve is easier with Richmond Power Up. So I highly recommend use this tool for everybody, and just want to say it's completely GDPR compliant. So there is a few checkboxes around this. So we not store anything or about the customer if customer not give it consent. So don't worry about this part. And again, the best it works with offline data. If you have calls data from your CRM system, all of this data can be enriched and stitched to the sessions on the web. And this is really killer feature because you can in your G4 or Meta like Meta Analytic, not Analytic, but Meta and Google Analytic, Google Ads, they will stitch the same and attribute the same customer to ad campaigns properly. Even this is offline data, and it's work like very very well. Everybody happy about this. So yeah.
I have a question that I always ask Dan for the last like few weeks. Are we gonna see also an identity graph power up soon? I've been waiting on identity graphs.
Uh,
Is
we,
that coming?
it's not coming soon. What will come relatively soon? It's we will add even more data to Stape Analytic,
Mm-hmm.
and you will see currently, in Stape Analytic you can see how much data come because of ad blockers or Safari browsers, uh, because of consent rejection, how many people was there or there, and we will want to add how much data, how better become your quality score
Mm-hmm.
using enricher power up, and I think people will see these huge numbers. We already have it internally for ourselves, and I think everybody should see these numbers because it's working better than we expected.
It's so cool. And I officially request in front of people here. I want a sneak peek. I want to see how this looks before everybody else. I have two more questions for you, but I'm gonna jump. I wanna Alina dropped a question here. So she said, with the new Shopify markets setup, can the same Stape container ID or loader ID be used for multiple Shopify markets domains if they're all under the same Stape business plan and server container with multiple custom subdomains configured? That was a mouthful, Alina. But she's basically asking, should each Shopify market domain have a separate Stape container account, or does it work together?
Um, we we always say if you have different web GTMs, you need different SGTMs. If
Mm,
you use the same web GTM, then you can use same SGTM. So it's really simple like this. We support, like SGTM supports different kind of setups, and it's basically about how you configured it.
okay. Well, thank you for your question, Alina. So I know we're at time, so I want to talk a bit. I need to address the AI in the room. So we've been mentioning before Google and Meta ecosystems in this live, but also let's talk a bit about search behavior because for me, I'm super interested into search. That's kind of like part of what I do right now. It's video creative and search. So I know Stape rolled out configurations for ChatGPT tracking, right? And OpenAI ads conversion, API directly in your template gallery. So I want to ask you, like, when a completely new algorithmic ad channel spins up overnight, what does the server side architecture need to look like? Because if you think about it, like, you need to be able to deploy very fast to the stuff, like to be able to see, to get visibility, rather than wait, I don't know, for 6 months to build a native integration. It's very hard to be, um, I guess, with the times because these things are happening. And the more we have AI systems and AI platforms, the more we will get this type of channel. So, what's the solution here?
So for us, we like for we already stopped ChatGPT for few clients, big ones mostly, and actually setup was pretty fast. They were wondered why we not charge for this more money. We charge it like 3 days for them for setup. We already think it's too much because we do setup 1 day, 1 day for testing, and that's it. And it's not even take full day. The thing is, if you have properly set up its SGTM configuration, and for example, purchases you send to SGTM from real server to server connection, then it's not too much you need to do. You just use our gallery template for, I don't know, ChatGPT, for example, connect like you can set up it like I don't know in 1 hour using Claude, whatever, any tool that you like to configure your Google Tag Manager, or check our video or blog post and where everything explain it. You just install our tech and it works. You don't need to reset up anything on the web or do something extra. And that's why it's so important to configure these few events that you need properly, because with proper setup, adding new channel, new vendors, it's really fast. Uh, so yeah, I think in this new world where new ad systems popping up that much fast, and you just want to try them, server side GTM is very good solution for for gathering everything under one umbrella and create setups much faster.
Oh, I was on mute. I've been thinking a lot about this infrastructure question. Um, been thinking quite a lot on it because you tend to have like different client calls or different, I guess, situations where I guess we talk about agentic a lot. It's part of it. At scale, people don't buy from agents yet. It's just very little. I mean, I wrote in my latest newsletter, like you also what happened with OpenAI when they just rolled back the feature because people were not buying it. They were just using it for research. But I think one of the main things that I know for sure, and this is based on my experience, is that our data warehouses are not ready for agentic anything. Like the way our data warehouses work is just for somebody that gets reports at the end of the day. Like they're not built for autonomous systems that make decisions that have business context. So I'm wondering, like, as the data warehouses changes, the way we think about our infrastructure, where their server sites sit, like, because if I think about it like super simplistically, you will have server to server purchases, so it should be easier than ever, I guess, to get this data without maybe needing all this type of tracking that we're spending all our time in. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, and that's true for like I think majority of our clients already use server events for logins, registrations, purchases, and for them, it's nothing actually changed. If they want to track more data, it's pretty easy. They already have this pattern in mind how to configure. And that's what you say, that before, actually it was harder than now. Especially you need to set up this JavaScript, add new JavaScript on your website, add new parameters. I don't know what this JavaScript needed, and it was always much more complicated because you need to go to security team. They need to allow you to add this JavaScript on website. Now it's really much easier, because in our cases it's also always for us was strange that even for large enterprises, security teams actually not check where you send data, and with which tool, with which script you do this, if it not on web page. So imagine if you in this install, I don't know, ChatGPT Pixel, OpenAI Pixel on web interface, or security team will check it. But if you will install it on server-side GTM, security team usually even don't know what that this is happening. And like in real life, especially for enterprises, this speed up a lot of things. And again, from our experience, many like, for example, you're a marketer, you want to test new affiliate network. I don't know, for example, you use it Avin, you want to try CJ, Tabula, whatever. And first question for enterprise is, even besides a contract, like of course contract, but second question, uh, can do security team allow us to do this? And in our experience, because server-side GTM allows to skip security part, its implementation becomes faster. So you can think about speeding up not only from perspective that HGTM like do something better, but also about like security that provides HGTM actually speed up real process, and it even tracking not involved in this process.
That's kind of like where I'm at nowadays, because it's also all these changes, like the simplification thing that just happened yesterday with Google Signals and so on. Like I don't know where classical tracking still exists, or what's the purpose of it, because w- none of it happens like this anymore. It's quite weird, as I said in the beginning. Like I don't know where we're going. My last question for you is, with all the stuff that is changing in our industry, it's easy for teams to get, I know I get overwhelmed, and then just get blocked and maybe do nothing or just wait things out. So I'm thinking, like, looking at the massive amounts of traffic you guys at Stape process every day, what is the one thing? I sound like a Mercer right now with the one thing. What is the one single most fundamental high impact server side pipeline that you see top percent of the brands building right now, y- focusing on and getting results, and the rest of the market is completely ignoring? And I know you're saying with the four events, but what else is there? What is like
Um,
the 10% doing right now?
Cleaning data. We not speak it about this today, but it's really important part. Clean data before sending it to Google Ads, to Google Analytics, BigQuery, whatever you have. Most of advanced setuppers, users, they have two properties in J4 or Amplitude, whatever you use. One will have all data, and another one will have like clean it from bots, clean it from AI tools, because uh, it again depends on website. But for example, you are publisher, you had like news site, some news site. It can be even not about real world news. Let's say you news site about games, or something very niche, and these sites scrape it a lot by bots, and it's really important to clean data. So the first about, like, you track it event, you choose it if what you want, you choose this your five most needed events, set up it properly. But next stage, it's really important to uh, clean them, and I'm cleaning, I mean clean them from bad actors like bots. uh, Enrichment still not very popular. So clean data, then enrich, uh, do pause. Pause is actually pretty popular now. So what we see already there is, I think, enough tools for pause tracking, and Google promotes this a lot for a few years, and we see it's not like top 10 clients. It's definitely a lot of clients already implemented this and connect offline data, but I think it's mostly connected with enrichment. Offline data also, what people used to do, it's offload CSV file from your CRM system and upload to Google Ads and then upload to Meta. And I would say this really a lot of people still do this. And like this works actually. This works. Of course, it's better to process through main pipeline, but I just saying that people already somehow familiar with offline data, and I think that if you want to be in top 10, main focus should be on cleaning data and enrichment data.
No, that makes sense. And Alina said also, thanks also, Alina. I need to send you something for being the most active person. I see there's people in this live, but Alina is like the best commenter of the day. So, but she's right. Like it's in theory, yes, it's so important, but in practice, it's very hard because all companies try to move fast. There's decisions that needs to be done, as budget allocation. But I want to also add on top of what Dennis said that the incentive here is not just basic analytics. It's also the fact that now data is your storefront because it's not only humans purchasing. You also have these agents that will happen. I know it's not happening now, but if it's anybody that can actually make this happen is Google. And everything you heard at GML points to that. Like they're building the whole protocol for this internet. So it means that data becomes your storefront. So everything that you expose about your brand in whatever form and whatever enrichment state you're sending, this is what will bring you the business in the next few years. So it's good that maybe the de facto of the market is not yet here because you can invest this time in building more, I guess, rigorous data cleaning, processes like in your company. Yeah, exciting.
Just want to add to this. We often ask on sales process, e-commerce websites. Do you see in your do you see in your GA4 AI traffic from AI browsers, for example? And they say no, it's very small. Probably that's why we not see. But
Yeah.
that's not true. But that's not true. Do you know why? Because all AI browsers and AI this agents, they all have by default ad blocker installed. That's why you don't see this traffic. And for example, if we speak about most popular like OpenAI, they go to when you ask their agent to do something, they open website and first said what they do, they decline consent. They decline consent and then do stuff. And that's why you don't see any data about these agents. If we speak about, I don't know, Perplexity or Cloudy, they have they're like things they have ad blockers installed. Let's say in on some cases, GTM.js even not loaded in the browser. That's why I not see. So maybe people think there is not enough traffic from these AI things, but it is.
A
It's
lot.
your. It's a lot, and it's just
A
because
lot.
you're tracking not track this. That's the problem.
And you know what is super interesting because I read this report from Human Security, and it's in my newsletter. But basically, it's saying that behavior that once used to look like bots and like attacks, like people surfing pages super fast, form completion, checkout, and so on, now is just just legit agentic e-commerce workflow, which makes me think a lot about what you said earlier, like what decisions we need to make nowadays to deal with this type of tracking. What do we allow and what do we block anymore? Because we don't know. So very, very, very fair point. Well, we're almost at time, so I just want to say, Dennis, first of all, thank you for taking the time. I think this was awesome. Thanks everybody that joined and commented, and Balash also decided to comment. So go and follow Balash too. But where can people connect with you? How they can start using Stape if they want to, if they felt inspired after this webinar? I don't know if you heard me because my internet just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I
okay, we're back. We're back. Sorry, guys. I just panicked a bit because my screen was like, "You're getting disconnected."
No, no, it's
Yeah.
okay.
So where can people connect with you, Dennis, and how they can start with Stape?
So you can find me in measures like a lot. I respond there personally, like either every day in LinkedIn, of course, and offline on Measure Camp Super Week, and I try to attend a lot of events offline. So I'm pretty open to new conversations,
Awesome.
regardless.
So I dropped your LinkedIn in the chat. I dropped Stape website, and you can also actually start by using their website checklist. I tested this on a few websites, and I'm embarrassed to share results. But yeah, thank you so much, Dennis. Really, really appreciate your time. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the people that joined us. And if you missed this, don't worry. I'm gonna send it as a newsletter probably tomorrow or the day after with a quick summary. And also, I promised some slides on profit calculation.
Yeah, and thank you, Juliana, for asking me to come here and talk. It was really fun. Hope people like this, and it will be not the last talk, our talk. So we'll see
Yes.
how it's going.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks, Balash and Alina, as well for your comments. Bye bye.
Bye.